Hello and welcome to the Creative Life Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Qureshi, but you can call me Q. I don't think we've ever actually talked face to face. Like we've never had a face to face.
I think we did one of these once before.
Yeah, but it wasn't video. It was only audio. So I have talked to you in text and I have talked to you like audio, but I have never talked to you face to face.
Look at that. Wow.
I don't even know. I don't even know what to think when your face moves because I just see an avatar most of the time.
Most people don't know what to think when my face moves. There's usually some manner of confusion and revulsion.
Stop. Okay, welcome back to the Creative Life Podcast. Zaki Hasan, my favorite movie guy ever. How's it going?
It's going. It's so good to chat with you.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, that I know that's not like a fake background. You literally have all that stuff behind you.
This is all. Yeah. There's more, but yeah, that's.
Is this your children's inheritance?
I worry about that a little bit because I don't know what I think I would need to sell it before I leave, so that they have a more meaningful inheritance. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean, this stuff is. It's well preserved. It looks like an actual archive. It is an archive.
It's my personal archive. Yeah.
Wow, that is some dedication, man.
Yeah,
you're a Virgo, right?
I'm a Libra, so close.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Okay. Well, we have been trying to revisit because you were on this podcast before.
That's right.
And for those who are uninitiated, Zaki is a guy who knows everything about movies, or at least a lot of things, and has his own multiple podcasts, including the MovieFilm Podcast, which you co-host with Brian Hall. That's right.
Yeah.
I like Brian. I have no idea what he looks like.
He's good people. He's salt of the earth.
Yeah, he seems that way. I listened to your commentary track about Clueless and was just delighted by how much he loves Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah. That was a great track.
He loves her. It's so cute. She's doing like a detective or a mystery show.
Oh, is that right?
An Irish mystery. It's called Irish Blood, and I think it's on Acorn TV.
I had not heard about that.
Yeah, she goes back, she goes to Ireland and connects with some distant relative or something, and then there's like a mystery involved, and
so she is the detective.
I don't think she's a detective. I think it's like a mystery type thing, but she's part of like solving this situation. Okay. Yeah, this like the person who died was like a relative, and like there are weird circumstances, and then she gets kind of pulled into it.
Okay. She's also doing a Clueless reboot series of some kind. I think it's a series for Peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that could be either incredible or a mistake. I guess we'll find out. We'll all find out together.
Yeah. You know what? I was so interested to find out by listening to your podcast that Clueless was actually supposed to be like a serial, like a television show, and then they turned it into a film.
And then they turned it into a show, and not a very good show.
Was it a show after that?
Yeah, it didn't have Alicia Silverstone, but they brought back many of the supporting cast, like Stacey Dash was in it, and what's her name, the redhead? I forget her name, but she was in it, and Wallace Shawn. I think even the dad. But yeah, I think it lasted a couple seasons, but it didn't last in the the cultural consciousness.
I mean, let's be real. What is the point of Clueless without Cher?
I definitely agree with that. Hollywood would disagree because they would say, no, it's the brand that matters. It's the IP that matters, not the person,
Okay.
Yeah, that's how most people react, which I think is the right reaction.
Yeah. Forget about that. Okay, so I have so many things to discuss with you. I have an agenda. I'm just kidding. kinda. First of all, I realized just before coming on here that you guys did a commentary track about Tron, and for some reason I missed it. And
Oh,
I cannot wait to fire that up because I love me some Tron. You know
oh
that.
man, I want to hear what you think after you listen. Please let me
I
know.
can't wait. Yes, yes. And but what's weird is the episode right after was about Tron Ares, and I
That's
listened
right.
to that. So I don't know
Okay.
how I missed the other one, but I still haven't seen Tron Ares.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
You know what? I liked it. I might be in the minority. I liked it despite Jared Leto being sort of a vacuum,
Yeah.
but I love that universe, and I have a feeling this will be the last time we visit that universe, so I'm just taking it as it comes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
say this in the track, but I went to preschool with a Tron backpack around my shoulders. So that's how far back I go with this franchise.
Well, that's adorable. Um, I love Tron and I loved Tron Legacy.
Me
And that
too.
came right when my kids were like the perfect age. Like they
No,
were,
sure.
I want to say like 8 or 9 when it came out. And they
Okay.
were obsessed with it. And we watched it
Yeah.
so many times. Um, I don't even remember if it was well received, but it was well received in our house.
Yeah.
We loved
You
it.
know, it did okay, and they were planning to do a sequel, and then for whatever reason they kiboshed those plans, and I think that was such a mistake because the truth is, it did okay in theaters and it did very well on home video, and had they done a sequel, with the original director, by the way, the guy who like went on to make Top Gun Maverick. So I mean, he was on
Oh,
board for a Tron sequel, and Disney's like, oh, you're not making Avengers money or whatever the rationale was, and they just kiboshed it. It's such a shame because I think there's room for these sort of mid-level franchises, and I think Tron is right there in that.
yeah. I find myself gravitating more toward those actually.
Yeah, right.
Because I think when you're at that mid level, you have a little bit more freedom to be quirky and weird,
I agree.
and some stuff, some elements that may not make it into a blockbuster get woven in.
Yeah.
Certain character flaws, certain things, like a lot of the Marvel series that showed up, like what was it, Jessica?
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
freaking loved that show.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
went
Yeah.
crazy over that show. And I would rather watch a show like that than one of the big Avengers movies.
Yeah, sure. Because well, I mean, at some point, like my feeling is I don't mind the explodey you know sense shattering stuff, but give me the other stuff too, right? Like give me many different flavors. So give me a Jessica Jones. I don't need everything to be like that. I don't need everything to be like the Avengers. Give me that spectrum of everything in between. That's I've liked a lot of the stuff they've put on Disney Plus because of that, because it's just something different.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, I do want to see Tron Ares. So here's the thing. Jared Leto, oh my God, he's such an idiot. But
He's a weird dude, isn't he?
he's such a freaking weirdo and kind of gross. Like he just gives me ick. But the
Yeah.
thing is, as you said on your podcast, he is a Tron person. And they're like people who love that franchise. I don't know what it is, but there's a certain quality to it. There's a certain like vibe to it. And I
Yeah.
have to respect somebody that loves it that much. And he was the driver behind getting Tron Ares made.
He's the
So
reason it got made. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I'll give him a chance,
well,
I
it's
guess.
on it's streaming now, so I guess you can check it out anytime if you have
Yeah,
Disney Plus.
I do. I do. Unfortunately, don't tell anybody. It's
It's just between you and me. Shh.
and all 7 of my listeners, viewers. Uh Zaki, I've been dying to ask you what your favorite movie from 2025 was that came out in 2025, not that you watched.
Sinners, for
Yeah.
sure. Sinners.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
freaking incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
such a good movie.
There's
I've seen it 3 times already. I love it.
Have you? Did
Yeah.
you see it in the theater?
Saw it in the theater, and then I've watched it twice after it came home. Yeah, like
I
I
so regret
purchased the
it.
digital like as soon as it day one purchase.
Yeah. Yeah. I regret not seeing it in the theater because I can only imagine how good it was. And you know what was crazy is I woke up this morning thinking about that
Oh,
movie.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I have weird thoughts when I first wake up. It's kind of
I
a
don't know.
strange
Sounds like a
time for
good
me.
thought to me. That's quality thoughts right there.
um, Actually, just thinking more about Ryan Coogler, but
Yeah.
obviously then Sinners was part of that. But yeah, that movie blew my mind. And I keep telling people, like the last book I just read and reviewed was a vampire novel. And I
Okay.
keep telling people I don't really like vampires, but then I keep finding myself consuming vampire content.
Hmm.
So maybe I do, and I'm just in denial. I don't know.
I think it's all about what's underneath the wrapper, right? The vampire is the wrapper, and it's what's the story underneath it.
Yeah. One of the movies I saw last year in the theater was Nosferatu, and I
Okay,
did
sure.
not like it. I thought it was
Yeah,
just so, well, first of all, it was so dark. And I
mm,
don't mean like emotionally, I mean like visually.
right. Yeah.
Like I think I'm just getting old. Like I was like, what is happening in here? I can't see anything.
I mean, that's a real problem with projection in theaters that they're not illuminating. They're trying to cheap out on bulbs and how brightly they light them. Like it's a real thing that they're doing, and I wouldn't be
Oh.
surprised that that's something that you experience because I've certainly experienced that as well.
So you're saying I'm not just old.
No, uh,
Ugh,
you're good. You're good.
phew, what a relief. What a relief. Okay. Uh and then the other thing I'm dying to know about is Marty Supreme.
Yeah,
Because I have this weird fascination with what is that kid's name?
Chalamet, Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet. I think he is in some ways I look like obviously he's like my kid's age. And I look at him, I'm like, God, he's kind of a punk, right? But in other and then like he'll be like being a dope and he's out there dating a Kardashian. And I'm like he's like
Hmm.
I see these pieces of him and I'm like, who is this idiot? But then every once in a while he'll like produce something that is so good. And I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
he's got something, right? He
yeah.
was in a really good movie about God, you see how great this is. The director who did the Royal Tenenbaums made a movie about a newspaper, a French.
Yeah, yeah, The French Dispatch.
Yes. And he was
Yeah,
in that movie. And I
yeah.
really liked him in that. And I was like, dang, he's got some chops. So what's the verdict?
On Marty Supreme? Oh my God. You know what's funny? This is the second podcast in 2 days where I have talked about Marty Supreme. So a lot of people want to talk to me about Marty Supreme, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully it's not because they find me like the character in that movie, you know? You're an insufferable douchebag. What do you think? What do you think about this movie? I loved this movie so much. Oh my
Hmm?
God, I loved it. And I love how unpleasant Timothy Chalamet's character is. My God, just insufferable, unlikable. He goes out of his way to make him unlikable, but damned if by the end of that movie you're not doing one of these. Like, I think he takes us on a journey. I think it's remarkable, and there's so much happening in it. I went with my wife, and this was this my forearm was bruised by the end of it because she was clutching me so hard, you know? And you think this is not like Lethal Weapon or Die Hard or something,
Yeah.
this is like, oh, are they gonna, escape from the guy who they're trying to get the dog from or whatever? It was like that, it was like the moral conflict had her clutching my forearm, oh, is he gonna sleep with Gwyneth Paltrow again or whatever? I think this is one of those. This to me is why I go to the movie theater.
Mm.
It's to experience something like this, and it's just like try describing it to somebody. It's about an unlikable guy who wants to be a ping pong champion. I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? Who's gonna go
Yeah.
see it based on that, right? And so,
Yeah.
from like I knew the bare bones. I didn't watch a trailer. I knew I was gonna be watching it anyway. I'm like Josh Safdie is. I'm gonna watch it. I didn't watch a trailer, and so I was just able to experience it. And I didn't tell my wife anything about it. She didn't know anything about it. I'm just like it has Timothy Chalamet in it, and that I should say back in like 2017, 2018, he was in San Francisco for a press event with Steve Carell, and so my wife was with me, and so we chatted with him briefly, and we got a little picture with him, and so I think she's always felt very protective of him, like an
Yeah.
auntie,
Uh-huh.
oh,
Uh-huh.
what
I
a
can
nice
relate.
young man.
Uh-huh.
Right? What a nice young man. We got a
Yes.
picture. It looks like we're like, hey, our son at his, at the play that he's in, kind of thing. Yeah. My nieces think I'm like floating on air because I'm the guy who met Timothy Chalamet.
Amazing.
But that's what I go to movies for,
Yeah.
for just to have that experience, for that emotional journey. Because by the end of the movie, you're like, whew, like that was me, right? So give me that. Give me a year where you have Sinners and Marty Supreme, and One Battle After Another. And I mean, man, we had some great movies this past year.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel exactly like that. And I am a person that if you said, "Hey, let's go see a movie about a ping pong player who's an asshole," I'd be like, "I am in for that," right?
Oh, and
Like,
it's almost 3 hours.
excellent. Yes. Yeah, because I like weird shit like that. And I love storytelling. And I feel like a lot of movies, and look, I understand, and I've had conversations with you and I've listened to you talk about movies. And so I know that not everything is for everybody, and
Right.
that's fine. But a lot of what gets sort of bubbled up in the popular culture are stories that are, I, I want to say, kind of two-dimensional. And
Mm-hmm.
that is not a jab at like cartoon based or comic based franchises at all. I just feel
Right.
like there's a lot there it's mostly visual, and it's just meant to be exciting and kind of keep you enthralled for, an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Right.
And I really love as a storytelling device that does things to you that you don't necessarily want it to do, right?
Right.
Like,
Mm.
so for example, this guy's an asshole. And look, I read reviews all the time about books that I'm reading, and people will be like, I'm giving this 2 stars because the main character was a terrible person and blah blah blah. And I'm like, it's a you know if the if the author made you feel this sense of absolute loathing for this character, they've done an amazing job, and that's not 2 stars, right?
Right.
That's
Yep.
just you prioritizing your personal feelings around
Yeah.
something and saying,
Right.
I have the final say about what's quality based on what it made me feel like. And I don't believe that. I like when I see something or read something and I'm just like, what? Or genuinely, like, surprisingly, I get this feeling of empathy for somebody that I never thought I would. I love it when it's against my will. Like
Right.
like a story will take me and be like, "Oh no, you're gonna appreciate this story, and it's gonna make you feel things, even
Right.
though it's not something you want necessarily to appreciate."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So movies like that, I find them amazing. And you see a lot of those in like indie space, and you see a lot of those in foreign film, like a lot of foreign films are like that. But you know, you kind of have to seek those out. They're not there
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
all the time for you.
And I think unfortunately, um, the rise of streaming has moved a lot of those experiences out of the theatrical space, which is incredibly frustrating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, I think Marty Supreme, part of the reason it hits the way it does is because we get to experience it in a darkened theater. And I think you know, it's just a shame that corner of the market is shrinking, and it feels like it's being done deliberately. It feels like uh, um, you know, the the streaming companies are just trying to put a pillow over the face of theatrical, and it ticks me off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the future, unfortunately.
I do too. I can't remember if it was your podcast or another podcast or who I was listening to, but somebody was relaying an anecdote where they were talking to a kid,
Hmm.
and asking them what are they watching? What are they into? And the kid was like, and this was a young kid, like a tween. And they were like, I don't consume plot based content. And I'm like, what? What? Right? Like, that's crazy to me. And a lot of like young people now are really just watching this sort of stream in the actual sense of stream. It's not a beginning and an end, and there's no arc, there's no real story. It's just a stream of content, whether it's video games or whatever, I don't know. But I find that very, like, I just can't fathom it. I can't fathom that.
Yeah, it's completely separate from the fact that TikTok is about to be absorbed by Larry Ellison and turned into an algorithmically driven right-wing hellscape. I think the broader point, and this ties back to what you were talking about earlier, is we're having taken from us, we're having removed from our consumption diet the ability to follow long form journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think long form journeys are essential for forming concepts of empathy. We learn about ourselves, we learn about other people, we go on these journeys, and um, you know, I I what you're describing, I mean, I see that with my students all the time. I mean, yeah, they're just, oh, I just watch what TikTok puts in front of me. That is goddamn terrifying. I mean, it really,
Terrifying.
that is dystopian stuff, you know? Think about that for a second. You've removed agency from your own, like, well, what are you choosing? Oh, I'm just whatever's in front of me. Are you kidding? Are you freaking kidding me?
Right.
Uh, to me, look, and I'm sure this is a conversation you and I had before. For me, watching the Godfather trilogy the first time, almost 25 years ago at this point, exactly 25 years ago at this point, was a formative experience for me. To go on this 9 hour journey with Michael Corleone and to feel everything and to really take stock of what I felt by the time that series ended. That was something that really crystallized for me the idea that we can follow characters who do despicable things, who maybe are despicable, and we have to sort of reckon with our own feelings and all of that. I mean, whether we're consuming a book or a television series or a film, it's the same thing, right? You internalize what the characters are feeling, and you have to reckon with whether you're okay with it or not, and all that's healthy. That's part of the human experience. And I don't think the majority of short form content can do that for you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm writing novels over here, so you're preaching to
Yeah.
the choir. Like, I just don't, like, I can't, right? I consume a lot of text-based media, especially novels. And it's just, and even audiobooks. I love me an audiobook,
Yeah,
but like,
same.
there's something really so soul satisfying about following something for a period of time, because what it does is it gives you multiple days to be digesting it and to be thinking about it and to like let yourself, not just consciously but unconsciously, and even in a dream state, sometimes you're like working through some of the stuff that's happening. And I just, I just, and we've talked about this before, and I don't want to be that old lady that's like, in my day, but also in my day, right? We like used our brains and shit. Like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on here?
Yeah.
And look, I love me Guardians in the Galaxy, same as anybody else. I love me some TikTok, same as anybody else. But also, I'm aware enough. When I put, like, the last time I opened TikTok, I was like, Jesus Christ, like literally every other thing was an ad. Every time I would swipe, there was an ad. And sometimes I would get the same product from multiple people, like over and over and over. God forbid you click on one of those, because they will just never shut up about it after that.
Right. Oh
It
yeah.
is totally dystopian. And what's crazy about it is it's being presented as their opinion when you know that they're being given these talking points. Like there's so many commonalities in the way that they're talking about these products.
Absolutely.
And the products are garbage, which is also what's so dystopian about it. Like, somebody will be like, this is a life-changing whatever, nasal squeegee. And you're just like, oh my God, should I get it? Shipping is free. Yeah.
Well, just the name itself, right? Influencers, right? I mean,
yeah.
They know their role in the food chain here. Their job is to influence you.
Right.
And I think that we're at the front end of something that hasn't fully come into bloom yet, and that's what I find concerning is what's on the other side of this, because we already know people aren't reading. And now, thanks to generative AI, they're not writing.
Yeah.
And look, that's exactly the polity that's susceptible to manipulation. And hey, welcome to 2026, right?
Yeah. I was listening to some podcast by a guy in, I think it was a British guy. I think it was one of the history podcasts. And he was talking about visiting the US and just being blown away by how aggressively we're marketed to.
Yeah.
Right. And so even in other countries, I mean, the UK and other countries are much more tight. They're tighter about what they allow and how much they allow and what they're, even digitally. And so, yeah, I feel like when I heard that, I started paying attention. I was like, how many ads do I run into in the course of the day? And it is a lot. And I just, what does that do? And I'm an adult, right? And I can see it. But like, if you're a kid and that's all you've known, it's just this steady stream. Oh, and let's talk about this. Zaki, explain this to me, because I am an old lady. I need someone to break it down for me. How did I go from watching ads on TV to then paying for streaming so that I didn't have to have ads to now having ads on the streaming that I'm paying for? What is happening here? Is this me? Am I imagining it?
No, that's the journey. Isn't it great?
No, I'm so irritated by it. Like I pay to have these channels and then I still have to sit through ads.
Well, it's inshitification, right? That's a term that's taken on some relevance in the past year. I think who came up with it? Cory Doctorow. And man, we're living, right? We're like, we're so much of it from what you're describing, right? Streaming services, they reel you in. Hey, look, here's everything, and then what? Oh, you can't access this content anymore. This, and by the way, we're gonna have ads now unless you pay more. Man, inshitification, right?
Bro.
When you think about it, right, we go from TV with ads, and then.
Uh-oh. You froze on me. Zaki, come back.
2 hours later.
Zaki, are you alive?
I'm so sorry.
You know what? I'm going to leave all of that in. Just that whole blank space of me sitting here looking at my phone, waiting for you to come back.
I emailed you. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
My son, he's a year and a half, and so he's discovered, when I pull out devices that are plugged in, it's hilarious. So
that, I didn't realize you had one that young. That is, wow.
Yeah. Number 6, lucky number 6.
Man, how are you alive? I don't even know.
It's not even me. It's my wife. I don't know how she is managing, because she's some kind of a superhero,
For real.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, for like both of you, like my husband and my husband is, we had twins. We have 2, and like we both were just, wow. 6. and like a 1.5. Oh my God. Yeah, so that was cool. Yeah, that was fun.
I'm so sorry. There was this moment of I don't know where you lost me or where I lost you, but there was like it was like a frozen screen, but it was you kind of, and so I was like, oh, did I just like blow her mind? And I was kind of like feeling good about myself, and then it's frozen. Okay.
Well, we were talking about enshittification, and you and I was getting all wound up, so I think it was probably a good idea that we took a break because
Yeah,
I have
there you
some
go.
blood pressure problems.
Gets me wound up too, so I
Yeah,
don't blame you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we won't leave all of it in, but I'll try to make it as humorous as possible. I think I might put in one of those, SpongeBob.
Yeah.
2 hours
5 minutes
later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so we're talking like, listen, I was listening to another podcast this morning about the state of the publishing industry. Every industry right now is freaking out.
Yeah.
My husband's in software. They're freaking out. Everyone's freaking out. And AI is only part of the issue. There's a lot of other stuff. And that is certainly not helped by our current political situation in this country, right? Which makes everything look and feel 10 times worse. And actually, I think it is making everything 10 times worse. So my question to you is, why do we have a reason not to despair? Like, do we have any reason not to despair? Because I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing good things or whatever, but industries are breaking if they're not already broken. And I think it's fair to say, and I say this as an indie writer, even with all of the singular talent out there, there's a need for industry if we want to build these epics. Like, you can't do Cleopatra by yourself in your backyard, right? You can't do, these amazing, like, there's a lot of things we can't do that we love. We as consumers of these different medias, we love. What? Give me something.
Well, I think that the desire for stories is woven into our DNA. I don't think that's something that we can algorithm out of the human experience. I mean, they'll try. Those companies, those corporations will try, but I think fundamentally we do want that. All of us, all human beings. I think fundamentally we want connection, we want community, we want all of those things, and even as we're in a dark moment right now, um, you know, I was talking to somebody last week about just sort of, all of everything, going on, and they were like, "Did you think it would be this bad?" And I said, honestly, I knew it would be bad. I didn't think it would be this bad. This is with regards to the political. I mean, we're talking about invading Greenland as of this moment. Think about how insane that is, right? Think about how if you told somebody in October of 24 who's going to vote for Trump, you're like, bro, he's going to be invading Greenland in a year. You'd be like, okay, alarmist, TDS or what, right? And yet here we are. But you know, there will be an other side to this. Whatever this is there's going to be something after. We don't know what that is. Maybe it'll be worse, but there's going to be something else. And we don't know how the story is going to end, but we do know what we want our role in the story to be. That's how I look at it. I'm just like, look, there's a lot of things that are out of our control. What's not out of our control is how we choose to be and what we choose to add to the world, And if that is stories, then that's valuable. That is valuable. That's important. Because stories and characters and all those things, they give us a sense of how to be and how not to be, and that stuff matters. That's I think at heart I am an optimistic person because I believe in I believe in people. I believe in individuals. I don't necessarily believe in groups, but I believe in individuals because big change starts with one person saying, "How about this?" And that's what we all are, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a you know there's a prophetic saying that I really carry strongly with me, and I tell people all the time, right? If the end of the world comes and you're planting a tree, and the end of the world comes upon you, finish planting the tree. And I love that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's in our control,
Yeah.
and we should all just be planting trees,
Yeah.
literally, metaphorically, whatever. Just be planting trees.
Yeah. I mean, I think, there's some quality to the human race where we just can't get past ourselves in the present moment.
Mm.
And I think back about not just cultures, but entire civilizations, right?
Mm.
The Mayans and the Romans and all of these just mighty empires, that the Ottomans, like, this was they thought that they had peaked. They thought that they were living at the height of what human beings could live at, and that they were never going to fail. They couldn't foresee anything different. And we're no different. We just aren't. But I guess what it is what I hope we can do. And look, I hate to get dark about this, but like the last 5 years have been pretty dark, and I've like
Mhm.
made my peace with God. I'm like, look, whatever happens, happens. Like, if I'm going down, I'm going down. I'm going to try and take some assholes with me. Right. But like, I don't really think that, whatever happens, happens. But I hope that we have a way to preserve some of it, right, and pass that on to future generations. I'm not talking about time capsule, but something, the way that we study the Odyssey, right, and the Iliad, and the way that we go back and we study, ancient Egyptian mythologies and things like that. I hope we have something that we can carry forward. And everything just feels so ephemeral right now.
Right.
And I think that's the source of my anxiety.
Sure.
Personally, I've lost decades of my life to the internet, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I look at how much time I sat on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
a decade and a half, and my account's gone now.
Yeah, smart.
It's gone, right? And so now, like, and you're sitting back as a creative person, and you're like, what am I doing with my life, and what am I putting out there? And like,
Right.
it's hard not to feel like you're wasting your time, right?
Yeah.
Or that you've wasted your life. And so and part of it obviously is that I'm middle-aged and I'm thinking about legacy, but also I want us to, there are good things. There are good things that came out of or are coming out of this time.
Yeah.
And by this time, I mean the last 2 centuries.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And I don't want those to be lost forever.
Yeah.
Should we go into another dark ages? Should something absolutely catastrophic happen to the human race? And I don't know. I mean, I had this dystopian idea of like people in, the year 3000 digging through the rubble and finding, Paul Blart Mall Cop. I mean, like, this is who these people were.
I think that the greats will last. We still talk about Hamlet hundreds of years later, and there's plenty of American literature, American cinema, American poetry, everything. I mean, all of that stuff is going to last. I mean, the sad thing when you think about it is Donald Trump, this malignant fraction of a man who is approaching 80. He'll be gone. Look, actuarial tables are working against him, right? So he has what, a decade, being generous, right? And then he'll be gone, right? And what occurs to me is that we're careening towards a tipping point that we can't come back from.
Right.
And the only way that happens is by the acquiescence of people who should know better, right? So the thought I have is like, if this American experiment, all of this, everything that we achieved, right? Whether we're talking about NATO or you name it, if that means so little to you that you're willing to toss it over for this guy, then maybe it wasn't worth preserving to begin with if it means so little, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, unfortunately, these are events and decisions that are completely out of our hands to a large extent. Right. So we're on the roller coaster, and all we can really do is make sure that we got our buckles on so that when it goes upside down, we don't fall out. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's our role.
Right.
I mean, say what you will about Dave Chappelle. One thing he said in his last special, which I did appreciate, he says, "We're gonna wait out this MFer."
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how we win, by saying F you.
Right.
We're gonna outlast you, and I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I also think that Donald Trump is a symptom of an issue, and I don't like, he exists for a reason, and that reason isn't that he is singularly gifted in any particular way. He's been put there in this powerful position by a cadre of people who see him as useful because they have an agenda. And like, I don't want to be like, I'm not trying to be like conspiratorial. That's just the reality of it. That is what it is, right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
And so whatever happens, but I do agree that there's something to be said for just not freaking out.
Right.
Right. Just staying the course and preserving what we can, because at this point it's just, the more that you lose it, the more that you lose your capacity to function. And also the more that we disregard or discount the small everyday things that we can do, I think the more danger we're in, personally and collectively. And so that's, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, I can't control it. Like, you can't control anything. And I think it's very tempting in that situation to be like, well, whatever, what the fuck, I'm just going to take care of me. And I think that's the wrong choice. I think that we still have to make an effort to keep things together and to help people and to protect people. But like, how many, like, to bring this back, like, how many movies have you seen like this? The story that goes on where there's just people in impossible circumstances and they don't win. They might be good people and they don't always win, but then something gets preserved or there's something redeeming that is still there because people did not give up.
Right.
We lost Leo, but Rose got to stay on the door, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's never going to be all good. And endings are very rarely always happy, right? That's true. It's not just one of these things where we're not going to come through unscathed. And I think the question is, what can we do with what we have where we are? And that's what I have to keep coming back to. Otherwise, I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Like, it just feels like it's all a mind fuck right now.
Well, Orson Welles had a famous quote. He says the difference between a happy ending and a sad ending is when you leave the story. And I always think about that. It's it's like Star Wars. If you leave the story at the end of Return of the Jedi, hey, things are pretty good. If you stick around a little longer, then Han Solo gets shish kebabbed, and whatever happens to Luke Skywalker. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
And that's life to some extent, right? It's like, it's clarifying when you realize, and it's freeing to some extent where you say that, folks like you and me, we're just regular folks, and we will have a legacy, and hopefully it's a positive legacy, but let's face it, in 100 years we'll probably be forgotten.
Yep.
And that's okay. Like, I had that realization about a year and a half ago, or when I watched Gladiator 2, the second Gladiator, and just watching it. And, I had done some reading on the historical milieu that's being depicted and the various real life characters in the film. And I had this thought while watching the movie. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not going to be in any history books.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of, it's nice. You know what I mean? And folks who obsess over that, about their place in history, tend to be deeply damaged people, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe if Donald Trump's dad hugged him every once in a while and was like, hey, like give charity or whatever, like maybe he wouldn't be trying to conquer Greenland, um, he wouldn't be worried about his place in history, and that's sort of our legacy is our children, and
Yeah.
and maybe their children, and then that's about it, right? And then
Yep.
we're forgotten, and that's okay. That's kind of my point.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm not sitting here being like, oh, what are people in the year, in the 24th century going to be thinking of me? They won't be.
Right. Right.
So
I
that
agree
means,
with that.
right.
Yeah.
So that means we're here. We get our, let's say 90 years, being generous. We get 90 years of, 70 of those to really do something positive, and then we leave.
Yeah.
And hopefully what we did sticks around a little bit after us, and that's it. That's all we can do. But
Hmm.
I don't say that with an air of despair, or kind of like, oh, nothing matters. No, I think it does. It matters while we're here, and
Yeah.
what happens after us, we don't have control over.
Yeah. I mean, this is very Zen. I practice Zen meditation, and this is exactly the essence of it, right? That you have to be willing to sit with the reality of who we are and what life is,
Yeah,
and what we really have. Like, a lot of our culture and a lot of our society, a lot of our media exists to try to make us think that we are more important than we are.
yep,
Which is not to say that, no, like, I'm not trying to say, we're all worthless pieces of shit. I'm saying nobody here is better than anyone else. And, social media has been really bad about giving everybody this concept of self that is
oh yeah,
much larger than we are, right? And it gives us the ability to present ourselves in ways that are outsized from
yeah,
who we really are and what we really can do.
yeah.
And I think that that's I think that's very much a modern affliction. I don't know that people back in, the 1700s or 1600s, the average person, right, the vast majority of the human race, they were not thinking about how many people like them. They
Right.
had their communities. They weren't like, how many followers do I have?
Mm-hmm.
I should have a
Right.
platform. People should hear my opinions, right? Like,
Yeah.
nobody gives a shit about your opinions. And yet everybody thinks people give a shit about their opinions.
That's right. Yeah.
And you know this better than anyone, because you're always hearing people's opinions about movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Right.
this is, look, we human beings are, everyone has main character syndrome,
Yeah. Yeah.
and everyone is the main character of their own story, and that's sort of normal. But what social media has done, and this is something that gosh, I think it was Sean Fanning, one of the Facebook founders, who said, we
Uh-huh.
found a weakness in human psychology and we weaponized it. And it's that sense of, oh, I post a thing and here's all these people responding to it. Oh wow, look at, people care what I have to say, and look, I mean, look no further than Elon Musk. I mean, think about this, right?
Ugh.
The richest man in the world was upset that people were dunking on him on this social media platform, so he buys it just so that he
Yeah.
can make him. I mean, it's deeply messed up, right? Like the idea that what did he spend, like 40 billion on Twitter? Like, think about that for a second. If I had 1 billion, you would never hear from me again. You would never hear from. You'd be like, what happened to Zaki? No one would know. I would.
Where
I
would
wouldn't
you
even
go?
tell.
What would you
Yeah,
do?
I don't know, but I wouldn't tell anybody. I just, I wouldn't even tell my students. They just show up one day and I wouldn't be there because I'm off,
Amazing.
I'm on an island somewhere drinking a Roy Rogers or something, But that's my point. Like what is the pathology that would lead literally the richest man on earth? You have life altering amounts of money. Like the
Mm-hmm.
kind that you have enough money that you could bring measurable a meaningful change to huge swaths of the population, and your quality of life would be affected not one bit. Think about that. And what does he
Wow.
choose to do with that? Buy a frickin' social media app where he
Yeah.
can be surrounded by people who are going to kiss his ass. It blows my mind. And the brain rot, it's like Twitter was already bad. Let's be honest. It was never like a panacea, but holy hell, since he took it over, when you look at just, I mean, ostensibly reasonable people and the way their brains have absolutely been microwaved by this thing. I mean, it is certainly a wake up call, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's also it's also a warning, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I had to leave. I did.
Yeah,
And
good.
also I just didn't want to give him any, you know, I didn't want to patronize him in any way
Yeah,
because I don't think he's a very good person. And
yeah,
whatever, like he can be judged by somebody else, but I'm not gonna support him and his shitty platform. But I was on the way out of Twitter anyway, because I think that it was headed that direction anyway, where people were just sort of people had lost it, especially during the first Trump administration. It was so bad. It was getting so bad, and I was like, right now I'm on a social media break. I take them
hmm,
regularly.
that's good.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's so hard to go back. Like I've been off since December 15th,
Okay.
and so it's been a month, and I'm supposed to be off until the end of January, and I have so much peace in my life. And it's not like I have my head in the sand. I know what the hell's going on. You can't really hide from it. I know what's
Right.
happening. I know we're trying to invade Greenland. I know the president's a jackass. I know about, ICE shooting people in the streets. I get
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right. But do I need to sit for hours a day and rehash that with people who are emotionally dysregulated? Do I need
Right.
that in my
Yeah.
life? I don't think
Mm,
so. Right.
yeah.
And so at this point, I'm really having this cost benefit conversation. So,
Yeah.
like, what do I get out of it? And
Right.
I hate to sound like that. I hate to sound like a person who's like, what's what am I getting out of this? But really, what am I getting out of this? Right?
I
And I
I
know
I
it's a
think that's
necessary
a
evil.
I think it's a good conversation to be having, to be honest. I think more people I think the world would be better off if more people were having that conversation.
Yeah. It's just hard because so much business takes place online,
Yeah.
like commerce. And
That is true.
if you're in a business, or if you're trying to promote yourself as a creative or whatever, it's really hard not to have some level of engagement. But then the question is, to what extent, and
Hmm.
what are your
Yeah.
boundaries and all of that. But yeah, Zaki, I mean, we've been connected since forever on the internet,
It's been a
and
minute.
I know. And I was quite pro social media for almost a decade, maybe a
Right.
decade and a half. I was like, this is gonna, you know, the Arab Spring and all
Hmm.
this shit we're gonna
Wow.
solve problems. And
Right.
then no, we did not.
Right.
We did not solve problems at all. So yeah, I guess I'm in a battle with myself not to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because it just
Right.
feels like some days I just get so itchy, like I just want to delete everything and
Yeah.
disappear on an
Hmm.
island. Where's my
Sipping a Roy
billion?
Rogers. Yep.
Hit me with a billy. All right.
I
Well, that was I think you're right. I think you're right that people are natural storytellers. We've been sitting around the campfire telling stories since the Stone Age. That's never going to go away. And every single person has agency and power. And I think a lot of effort goes into trying to convince us that we don't. But yeah, I think there is some reason to hope, and especially when it comes to our medias.
yeah.
I think.
I think you're right.
All right. Well, before we go, tell me about your Pixar event that you
Yeah,
almost
so
had to blow me off for today.
just the opposite. I wanted to make sure I didn't. Yeah, so I just watched they have a new movie coming out in a couple months called Hoppers, which
Hmm.
I can't talk about yet, but we got a chance to chat with the director and the other filmmakers, and I will say it's about beavers, and part of the I'm trying to like step gingerly about what I can talk about. Part of the press event that we had was we talked to a beaver expert who, and you talk about, I could have listened to this woman for another hour and a half easily. She was describing the role that beavers have played in preserving our ecology and our waterways and everything. Just remarkable. And the fact that for a time, I mean, they were they were being hunted for their skins, and so they were almost virtually wiped out. And as a result, the entire ecology of this country took a body blow. We're talking 100+ years ago. And what an incredible story. I mean, we don't talk about beavers, and yet they're so essential. And as I'm watching this wonderful presentation, I can't help but juxtapose it with the headline I saw in the New York Times just yesterday about how the EPA's rules are now being changed to reflect, rather than the potential loss of life from regulation, the potential loss of income by companies from regulation. And which is like Captain Planet villain territory. That's where we're at.
Yep.
And I'm like, like, let's go back to nature. Like like it doesn't mean we have to wipe away all of our civilizational advancements and stuff, but like, when you study ecology and nature and all of these things, you recognize the amazing balance that all of these things exist in. And unfortunately, the future of so much of this stuff is being decided by people who are going to cash out in the short term and aren't going to be around in the long term.
Right.
Like, never let it be said, never let it be forgotten, excuse me, that our environmental policy currently is being shaped by an octogenarian who will be long gone before the full impact of his ecological decisions are felt. Whether we're talking about what the EPA is doing, whether we're talking about withdrawing from climate treaties, I mean, you name it. I mean, again, it's like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons would be like, bro, this is a little much,
Calm down, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. You know what? I went through a beaver phase a few years ago.
Really?
Like, I find them fascinating. They so they live inside their dam, but other animals go in there too and hang out. Like, they have like a whole little, it's like a hotel. Like, all these animals will go in there, hang out, sleep, eat, whatever. And there was a game that was being developed, I think, on Steam, that was about like dam building and stuff. I got into it for a while, so I'm all about that. And
oh, you'll like this movie.
That is true. Like, I watched some really cool documentaries about areas where they were just decimated, and they brought beavers in, and within like a certain amount of time, I can't remember, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you would go back and it was just beautiful. Like, it was just lush, and all these animals had come back. So they are fascinating creatures. Also, here in the land of Texas, we have a chain of mega, I don't even know how to explain them. They're not gas stations, but they're enormous gas stations. Like, we're talking 50 pumps, right? And their mascot is a beaver. They're called Buc-ee's.
Okay. Buc-ee's. Oh yeah, I know Buc-ee's.
Yeah. And so we appreciate them here in Texas, even if our current regime hates the earth.
Hates the earth. I mean, it's like,
fucking crazy.
How else to describe it?
It's bad. All right. Well, this has been a great conversation, and I appreciate you letting me rant and rave.
The only thing I'm sorry about is that my kid yanked the modem cable.
That is life. Such is life. And you came back, which is amazing. Like, thank you for coming back. I thought you were just gonna be like, I gotta go. Sorry.
One thing I will say about my journey to the Pixar campus. So just by way of context, Pixar is in Emeryville, which is it's about 40 minutes from where I live, and that's where all this stuff was going on. So afterwards, I go to the Pixar gift shop. And I got like a sweatshirt and whatever, and I wanted to get something for my daughter who loves Inside Out. So I asked the person, I said, do you have any plush toys of the main character, Joy? And she says, no, we're actually all out, but we have plenty of anxiety. And I said, well, if that's not the perfect metaphor from where we're at, no joy, plenty of anxiety.
Amazing. Yes, reality. On the other hand, you could argue that many people had to go and buy their joy because there is none. And so I'm very happy for all those people who got those joy toys.
They got their joy. They found their joy.
Good. Spread it around, people. Spread it around. Okay, well, thanks so much for coming on. Well, obviously you'll have to come back at least once a year because I need to interrogate you on all things.
Happy to do it.
And I am getting ready to this weekend. I'm going to prioritize listening to that Tron.
Yeah, seriously. Let me know. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I genuinely want to hear your thoughts.
Oh my God, I love that movie. I love it. It's also, those people were so attractive, weren't they? Right?
Bruce Boxleitner and Jeff Bridges.
Because when I was Jeff Bridges was very attractive when he was young. Like, I think when that movie, I was too young to really appreciate it, and I watched it as an adult. I was like, what? Wow. So if you haven't seen Tron, you should definitely see it for multiple reasons.
Agree with that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right, Zaki. We will talk again soon, I hope, and I will see you, alas, on the internet.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Excellent.